Hi there, everybody. It's Tom and Tom back here once again talking about business stuff.
Intentional culture, to be specific.
That's right. We like to think of it as intentional culture. You might think of it as business stuff. Uh, and just before we started recording, Tom was like, "Did we do a video on the difference between vision and mission?" I'm like, "We did one on mission statements the other day. I think we had a good time with that one, so you should check it out." But we didn't do one on the difference.
So maybe we could begin. You and I in the book really outlined a structure for thinking about your business if you want to be intentional about creating the culture. And we talk at the very beginning about mission, vision, and values. And every time you and I, if we're just informally talking with somebody else, and we start talking about mission, they start talking about vision, or we start talking about vision and they start talking about mission. And it becomes really clear that people are using these terms interchangeably as if they're the same thing. And so one of the things that we do when we're working with people is sort of pull the terms apart and go, no, let's discuss mission first, and then let's discuss vision. And I'm going to just put you on the spot and give me your Tom version of mission and your Tom version of vision and what you see as the difference when we're working with clients.
All right. I'm going to start by giving you the one sentence elevator pitch definition of each of those terms. A mission defines who you are as an organization, and a vision defines where you are going. It's really that simple. And in fact, the words, for whatever reason, like people don't get that, but a mission is literally what you are about, why you are here. And yet, when asked to write a mission statement, people often write down a description of where they are going, which is what a vision is. A vision is a picture. Literally use the word vision because it's imagery of what you will look like, where you will be in the future. Close your eyes. Imagine what the world will be like around you in your organization at some point in the future. And I encourage people to pick a time frame for their visions so that when they get there, they can get a new vision.
And first of all, you'll know. And you know you need to update your vision because you achieved what you were seeking to do. I first bumped into a style of vision statement I really liked working with Zingerman's company here in Ann Arbor, a very famous sandwich shop and now family of businesses. And Ari was teaching a very specific technique on creating a future vision. And it's like where you'd literally pick a date in the future. And he had little techniques in his vision, like you pick a date, it's January, we'll pick a date 4 years out in the future, January 1st, 2030. And he had a technique in writing the vision where you list what you've accomplished, like as you already have. It was like a sort of a mental hack. But it was very clear that it was a specific date and what you'd achieve by that date. And when you reach that, or you get close, or you decide you might write a new vision statement, but your mission very likely remains the same the whole time your business is alive, unless something changes that makes you go, I need to revisit fundamentally what we're all about.
Yeah. Or as we say in the book, something has gone catastrophically wrong.
The
Like we were in the logging business and now cutting trees has been outlawed. Well, then you're going to need a new mission statement.
uh, even going all the way back, because I was a fan of Ed Deming, W. Edwards Deming. He would talk about people thought they thought they were in the carburetor business.
Ah,
And then, so if you thought you were in the carburetor business and then fuel injection comes along, you go out of business. But if you think you're in the business of delivering fuel to the combustion engine, well, you survive these things that otherwise could be business ending. And maybe that's not even the greatest example, but it's why you'll sometimes see in missions, it's like, we're in the business of helping people get from point A to point B because they don't want to overly commit to a vision, which is right now we're going to help you get from point A to point B through a horse and carriage. And then maybe that'll switch to we're going to help you get there through an automobile with an internal combustion engine. And then maybe that'll switch to a electric car. In all of those, that mission is like we're helping people move around the world remains the same. And so that's sometimes a challenge for a new business to get the sense of that real mission. Like, what are you really there to do?
yeah. And some big companies have actually recognized that and changed their mission because it was too narrowly focused when they started. And I think Ford Motor Company might be a good example of that because I believe their new mission statement is something about mobility, which they were all about. They were all about cars, Now they're like, well, we don't know if cars are the future anymore, but we know we're going to be involved in getting people from A to B.
Now, if you were manufacturing buggy whips, you might have needed to figure out what your mission needs to be. As in the early 1900s, when the cars just, in 20 years replaced almost all of the buggies for real transportation. And so, what's an example of a vision that you've executed on that you really liked, or a vision statement that you worked against and that helped your team and really helped you achieve a goal, and then you were ready to write another one?
Huh. That's a tough one. Because I'll be honest with you, Tom. I've worked with more startups than most over the years. And very few of them even had a mission statement. They had goals. They had goals.
Mm-hmm.
And in a way, goals are a component of a mission statement. In a way, even if you don't have a mission statement, if you have a series of goals that get you to some point in the future that you are working towards, even though it's unarticulated, there's still a vision in there somewhere.
I think most startups start with vision. I think that tends to be the case. They have a short-term goal that they're working towards, and it's not really a mission.
Right.
And mission is often what you get to if what you're doing begins to make sense and works for people. But when I've done startups, and maybe because I learned this from Ari will write a vision statement for a speech he's about to give, a personal private. He's really taken this visioning to a very specific level. And so when Helene and I started A2 Agile and we were looking for office space, we sat down together because it was really important to us as Agilists. And we spent about an hour or more together writing a vision statement around our office.
Yeah, I think that's in the book, isn't it?
Yeah. And that allowed us when we went to visit a space, because it was very confusing otherwise. Well, you'd go to visit a space and you're like, this could work for a training room, and this could work for an office, and this could work for this. And you're sort of focused on some of the nitty-gritty details. And we'd do that for like an hour, and then we'd stop and we'd like, wait a minute, we forgot we actually did that exercise in writing a vision. Let's sit back, both of us relax and go, does this place meet our vision? And you could private vote or whatever we do. But normally we'd both go, yeah, no. So we often had to constantly remind ourselves, oh, we wrote a vision. And when we finally found the Office Evolutions, the place, and Dave that we picked as our office, we were in there for about 15 minutes. And I was like, this feels like our vision statement. And we signed the lease within the hour.
Yeah. I guess the question I have, now that you've sparked a question in my head. Why is it that so many startups don't start with a vision, like don't have a strong vision that they're focused on from the start? And they may have, like I said, they almost always have goals, like we're trying to build some software that will do this for people. Okay, how many people and when, and what impact will you have on their lives if you're successful? Vision statements have to have those things, or they're just nebulous goals, not even good goals really. Like, we want to build this software, we want to get it out there, we want to get people using it. Okay, 6 months later there's 150 users. You done now? No, you got more? Okay. What is it? Well, and like I said, I think that founders, because I've certainly spent a lot of time with founders. They know in their heads what they want. And it pretty much stays there.
Yeah. And pretty much it doesn't get out to feed the people.
Yeah, people around them start to get it. They start to understand what they're working towards. But it's not clear. And one of the things that a great vision statement can do is it can attract really good people.
Yeah.
Because I will say this, when I was at Ithaca, they had a really powerful mission statement. They didn't really have a vision statement per se. They had goals and whatnot, but they didn't really have a more enduring vision statement. But their mission statement was powerful enough that I can't tell you how often when we were hiring, people would say to me, I really want to work here because I love your mission.
Yeah.
Now, it was a nonprofit, which most nonprofits do have a mission statement rather, because if it's kind of a table stakes in the nonprofit world, like if you don't have a mission, well, what are you doing for the world here? But they were involved in the education space and helping people gain knowledge, and that was their mission. And a lot of people were like, "That's a great mission. I'd love to be part of that."
More than a few founders that I've worked with, if I could outline their short-term vision, it's they didn't want to get a real job. They didn't want to work for somebody else. And they were often just exploring ideas in space, looking for the idea and the customer in that synergy. And that's fine, by the way, like that's totally legitimate. Once they found that, though, that's the time where it's like, all right, I have my idea, I have my customer, I can see the market need, I've done some of that founder work. it's like what we're saying is, yeah, let's sit down, write the mission, write the vision. Where are we going to in the short term? And let's use that to focus your staff as you grow them, and to focus your team so that they're in alignment with what they do each day, with where you have directed the company to go.
And that's a key
And
word, by the way, focus.
yeah,
That's what a good vision does. Like I worked with a founder who opened a women's shoe store, and he asked me to help him with some stuff and automating and getting started. And he was like, I just want to sell shoes. I want to sell some shoes. I'm like, okay. I mean, that could be arguably a vision statement, but once the store is open and the first woman walks in and buys a pair of shoes, do you now need a new vision
you need
statement? I
that.
mean, like that. When is that fulfilled? And I think that's the key is that when you have a clear vision statement, it does bring focus and clarity to the work.
Yeah. Right. So that's selling the first shoe. By the way, like if you were doing a startup of a bookstore, or I mean a shoe store, excuse me, and you've set it in the future, it's January of a year from now. Like I've seen people include in that vision for where they are a year from now. We sold our first shoe in January of last year. Like before they've sold a shoe, they put that in as one of the small measurable milestones of the vision statement. But where are you a year from now? What is the customer's experience? What is your experience? What are your employees' experience? What is your vision for what this is really going to be like, this place to work, how it feels for you, how it feels for the customers, how it feels for the employees, how it feels for other stakeholders? Like the more you pull it out and make some of that specific, the more your whole team can use that for direction over the coming year.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is taking us too far afield because this is one of our longer videos here, but I think it's important to note that we talk in the book about the various dimensions of a vision, and I'm not going to name them all here because we're trying to sell books here. Come on, no, there's the market and financial, employee count, head count, or whatever. These are all could be dimensions of a vision statement, but you can't always put every dimension in the vision statement itself. And so one of the things that's important as the organization gets larger, and one of the key responsibilities of leadership, is to translate that vision. Like just because the vision statement has no financial dimension in it doesn't mean there isn't one there. There are always financial dimensions of a mission statement that could be unstated, but if you're the leader in finance, it's your job to say, well, how can we support that? There's
Yeah.
a market dimension listed there, but they're not going to get there without spending money and earning revenue and things that are financially related. How can we participate in the finance team in helping that mission that doesn't mention us? But we're
Yeah.
still there. We're there in that mission, in that vision. And so leadership needs to take those missing pieces and translate that vision for their team so that they feel included in it, even though the words aren't there in the statement itself.
And what Ari taught at Zingerman, or they did it, is teaching everyone to write a vision all the way down to the individual. Right. And they're right. If the individual writes a vision for something, they can see how it connects to the vision for their department. They can see how it connects to the vision for the organization. They can see how it connects all the way back to the mission. And it gives them a sense of guidance and direction.
Yeah.
So I think vision is way underutilized as a human motivational tool, as an organizational tool. And we're going to encourage everyone who listened this far, think about writing out a vision for your organization, for your department, or even just for yourself, leveraging the tools that are in the book.
Yeah. And we would love to hear stories about your favorite visions, or even some bad visions, if you
Yeah,
like. We have
those are always fun.
we have a comment section below the video here, along with a subscribe button that we would love you to click. And we would love to hear from you in the comments. And we will be doing more of these videos. And if you are subscribed, they might show up in your feed, which we
There
would
you go.
love.
Good talking again.
Yes,
Good luck,
thanks, Tom.
everyone, with your visions.
That's right. Talk to you soon.
Bye.